Let me know if the audio's good. It's too good for LAN. Get off to a great start. They're defending first. The lineups are certainly going to be interesting. And we can have a look at that as we get into it. I just want to make sure that everything's working and people can at least follow along with the action at home. The spectating is going to be tricky, but we'll have a look at what the teams are running towards the end. As we're looking at the nameless Rays, which I think would be Replan, I think, if I'm to sort of go off what the teams have been playing before. The new player on the lineup, Embo, is going to be on the Brimstone. We can go for the one by one if you'd like. This is probably going to be Replan, if I'm to assume. Yep. Alexi is over on the Cypher. Sind is on the Sage. And then we have team captain Fake. That is on the Breach. So typical lineup for these guys. But the ones that we haven't seen really all that much are going to be Rocket Launcher. Going to be on the Brimstone on attack. The Farmer, that's what this is. A crazy name, but they are going to be over on the Sage, just sort of buying the time. Emilio, the team captain, I do think for Dream Chasers, is on Silver. And then we got the Rain and the Rays. The Rainer again without a name. There have been a few connection problems, I do believe. So Rocket Launcher was the one that just DC'd, but he's back and he's alive. We do have the pause on though to try and solve some of these issues, but we'll do our best to make sure that they're as easy as possible. Seeing exactly what's going on with Rocket Launcher. I want to watch their perspective because they are not really on, but the plant needs to go in. I don't think it's going to be able to. Replan gets the paint shells in and the spray down's going to be good, so I would assume a pause is going to come out whilst Rocket Launcher fixes some of his issues. Which is, again, to be expected. Few people have had a fair amount of problems. Yeah, pauses come in, so they're just going to try and get Rocket Launcher back into game. We'll just see if these guys are good. I'll just go to the screen for now. Give me a second. Hey, brought me up. Dream Chasers played so well yesterday. Seem to play super slow now. I've not really been able to see them all that much since their topping of Group A, but all of the results that I have seen haven't spelt very much for them, to be honest. I don't think they've really done themselves any justice, I guess it would be. I'll just put the music back on a little bit whilst we're sort of waiting. It's been one round, yeah, but you can't really control it. It's better that we have these kind of problems 2 rounds in than 20 rounds in. And I don't think this will be the only time that we have to stop for disconnects and stuff. It seems, though, that the Brimstone is back in the game. Back into game. And learned a few things about the teams too. So the nameless player is Cobra. I think it's a bug because Amelia was confused as to why I was asking. And Baba is the rocket launcher player over on the Brimstone. So we have a good amount of intel there now, I suppose. Get a good lineup on that. Sind is the first to get the first frag in. The rotation is now going over onto the A site. that paint shell. Anywho, the attack is now coming in. Ember's able to get some damage in, but does get refragged eventually. Now it's all up to Emilio and Zadish to try and get something done. But Zadish is over on the A site lurking. And Emilio's backed into a corner with the Phantom. Recon-Bot's going to give away his positioning and maybe the positioning of a few others. He's going to try to scout it out. There's a pixel-perfect angle that the Raze thought that she had. So Replin gets some damage in, most importantly. They aren't expecting the Raze rotated all the way around, which is something that could easily catch them out if they're focusing too much on the Sova. But eventually Emilio goes down. The Sin spots that rotation, takes him out with relative ease. And Tukut Balan still set themselves up nicely for the lead. Love seeing the Spike logo on there. The Spike has been great with getting some of the stats and the events and the breakdowns to have a quick look. I think in the case of Dream Chasers, more information is necessary. We haven't seen them an awful lot. And them topping their group in Group A was enough of a surprise, but I don't think they've been able to replicate that kind of form quite some time now, it feels. Full Swedish roster has beat the likes of worst players. They beat the likes of Hip 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 and, of course, Godsent, topping their group. That's the Spike already lost for these attackers that are now forced to eco yet again. The layer is going to be used, but it won't really catch people up in heaven. The operator scouts across, but actually the Raze dies, loses a shot. The operator loses out to a ghost, but that orbital strike is going to catch off Zadish. Sid is the one that gets the spray down as they try to get out of there, but the teleporter has forced the Spike to move over to the B site now. But it is going to be a wraparound. You can see the Brimstone has sort of still got a lot of space, but Sind is keeping a very clear eye on it. Simpa's going to give them away, but Emilio gets a little bit done. Recon-Bolt is going to show up exactly where Sind is, but now it's Ember getting the frags. Spraying down, Emilio's there, the spray is good, he pulls out the pistol to get the last frag. Triple kill for the Brimstone, 4 rounds now for Too Good for Lan. Showstopper is available now for Replin if he wants to use it. I just hold on to the operator a little bit. Doesn't need to worry about it too much though, as the attacking members of Dream Chasers are sort of just mooching about a little bit. They're just sort of sitting back and waiting for some execution to come for free. Seems that they are certainly expecting it on A. Alexi's positioning would be given up by the Aldrun, sorry. The execution's going to come in. I'm actually surprised that now we might see the Hunter's Fury, that the position of Ember was given away. The spray from Alexi is a bit clumsy, but it doesn't really catch anybody. As the rest is trying to make their through. Baba's now going to push through, but it's the showstopper that actually gets used. It doesn't catch anybody from Zadish. There's nobody really there, but Alexi is holding his ground. holding onto elbow and is ready to rotate when his team need him to. The spike is planted, and now it's the defenders that are using Showstopper. It connects right onto Zadish. The Reyna is out of the fight. That blast pack is going to put a little bit of pressure onto the attacking Brimstone, which is Baba. And they're taking it super slowly. The Orbital Strike's going to force out the attackers, or defenders, sorry, from CT, but there's a nice double peek going on here, but I think the Raze is going to spot them. Doesn't quite see it, but pulls together one kill. It's a bit more of a mess now. It's a 2 versus 1. And the Silver does have his ultimate, so as soon as that plant comes in, but Alexi, how did Alexi hit that shot? Was that a wall bang? What was that? I think both these sides haven't really had the best form. I don't think, at least for the past couple of weeks. I think, you know, this tournament was looking to be another Fish123 Prodigy show. But Fish123 haven't played in weeks, ever since they lost to Hip 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 and the Take the Throne title, I suppose it would be. As a side note for that, Scream will be their 5th yet again for this tournament. The second map will be split, the third map will be decided by the team that gets the most points between this map and split. Out of course, Ascent and Haven. Attackers are 1 member down. Brimstone taken out early. It's still the job of the attackers to create some space for themselves with 1 person down. The Resurrect isn't available. It isn't going to be for another 2 charges of ult. Why is Emilio going to help himself to that when he already has his ultimate? Or is that, again, another bug that's showing up that he has it when he doesn't? After the patch, the Observing has had a fair few problems, so you will have to bear with me on that front this weekend at least. And they're now put under a bit of pressure. The spray is good. The Race has already made a way in, but the Farmer is the one that reaps the kill. The Sheriff is the first to get a frag. He's trying to work out exactly where the others are. He spots that there is a body there, and Alexi gets taken down. Spike is planted, and defenders are making their way across now. More pressure put through as Ray... it's always DC. Replan always gets the frag onto Zadish. No, it isn't Zadish, because Zadish is on the Raze. Cobra is, my bad. Now Hunter's Fury has been used by Emilio. Spamming across, does tag a lot of damage, but Fake just closes that distance on very low health. 29 health to break stuff down. Spots exactly where the Raze is going to be. And so far, this is the perfect start for 2G, Too Good for LAN. I think they're favourites. I don't know about you guys in chat, but I would put them as clear favourites because whilst they haven't been doing crazy well, they've at least been consistent in their results. Dream Chasers, though, not so much. We could have a quick look at sort of some of the results that they've been having recently, if you give me a hot second, sorry. Emilio getting the first frag, which is nice first blood. We haven't really seen that so far from Dream Chasers getting the first kill, but taking out the Cypher is going to be good. Denies Neural Theft and denies that extra level of intel that they could get. Ultimate, there is a Showstopper available for the Raze, but she's over lurking on A. It's probably going to be Cobra that leads the line on the Reyna. It's interesting to note, too, that Dream Chasers aren't valuing the Cypher themselves. They've got 2 duelists, the 1 initiator of Silver, and then, you know, your typical common core agents of Sage and Brimstone. Something a bit more typical on the defense for Too Good for LAN. Common core, or common 4 even. Alongside that, Rolling Thunder's used on absolutely no one. Fake! He thinks that there's a lot of intel to scout. The least he can do is pick up the ult charge, but that's a beefy rotation now coming out of Dream Chasers. Cobra's going to make a lot of space for himself with the Empress. His fire rate is increased, but is going to hold the line now that that orbital strike does buy a little bit of time for the defenders to rotate all the way around. This is the direction they're going to be coming from. Position of the Fake is given up, but it's Zadish that gets the first frag. Now Showstopper used, trying to scout out exactly where Fake is. Saw the Brimstone around there too, so wants to try and find a way to use it. Now the Showstopper used on the defense, catching nobody for Replan. Zadish is actually the one that gets the third, so he's opening up the score and looking likely now the Dream Chasers will be able to get their first round at least, but Replan, not if he has anything to say about it, sorry, does get quite a lot done, but Rocket Launcher, Baba themselves, make sure that we get a point on the round for Dream Chasers, but I imagine the economy is still going to be good for 2G4L. 2G4L, good damn it, that name. Too good for LAN, or too good for loss, too good for lose, whatever they want to call it. Looking at the results of Dream Chasers, they have lost 3 of the last 5 games that they've played. Bear in mind, the last 4 games, last 4 games were part of Twitch Rivals. I haven't really been involved in all that much else other than maybe a few qualifiers here or there, but nothing really of note. They lost in the Absolute Masters tournament 2-0 against Obsidian. Need to see them do better, I think. And there were some bright spells there for sure. The attack is looking to come in onto the B site. No ultimates available on the attack whatsoever, so they have to play this super carefully. The Eldron is the one leading the line, scouting out intel, but doesn't really catch much of it than somebody playing on elbow. Really, they need to be careful of this raise that's now holding into Hookah, holding all the way back. And really, the raise is looking at nothing, just making sure that nobody rotates around. But Zadish is going to maybe make their way in. They're being careful. They should be. This fight is going to be a slow one. And even though I knew it was coming, it still made me jump. That's going to be Replan getting the kill onto Zadish. Ember's holding on sight with the amount of people pushing in. But look at that spraying sniper rifle from behind. Is doing so much work. Now another Showstopper available. Gets the 4th. Baba goes down, that's just going to be the Sova. Easy, clean up 7-1 for Too Good for LAN. All really because Raze didn't get checked. It's warm, okay guys, I've got a £20 fan on me. This game started a lot faster than I expected. It started on time, so how about that? Football's not going to find all that much, and even if it did, it got destroyed by Ember before it could really catch any intel out. Yet another save by the Dream Chasers. It's been a baptism of fire. It might be a very quick 2-0 if Too Good for LAN can make that happen. Of course, they'll want to. That's a lot of damage already taken by the Reyna, but the heal's going to be used. Will be available for another 45 seconds. Yeah, there's not been any frame drops. Pijiku. Should fix title, to be honest. That's something that the mods I can't do. I'm not saying they should do it. I'm just saying I can't do it. And even there, we've got action on our hands. We know who's playing. Too Good for LAN versus Dream Chasers. And even on this eco, the attackers were doing quite a lot of work, but really not too much. Whoops. The operator's now in the hands of a very low health Rain. They can heal themselves, of course, if they get the kill, but they need to be aware of where exactly this race is going to be coming from. But they rotate a little bit away. Aren't watching an angle now, so could get caught out, and that's exactly what happens. 8-1. Oh man, this is not going well for Dream Chasers whatsoever. I think they really caught a lot of players, big names like Hip 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 out in the Group A qualifiers, but have been relatively silent ever since, it feels like. What does the title say? Does it say, like, the games from Group D? Because we'll be sure to get that fixed ASAP. I'll make sure that the mods know about it. Oh, they're probably watching and fixing it now, let's be fair. Because why would you ever miss games like this? Speaking of which, qualifier after this is going to be Party Pirates versus Fish 123. Party Pirates winning a relatively big tournament this week, the Wave Invitational, in pretty decisive fashion. That's Angel's team with the very young CIS hopefuls. Angels, like I like to call them. They're on form. Fish 123 were battered and bruised after the loss of Ardis. See how they do. That should be a hell of a game. This one, dark horse territory. Both these teams have the ability to get to the semi-finals and play up against who I just mentioned now, either Party Pirates or Fish 123 in the semis, which will be this time tomorrow, by the way. But right now, it's looking very much like Too Good for Lad as a better team. Inconsistent with their results, sure. But I think both of those teams fall into that category. Fake is holding a nice angle. He's going to get the collateral. Nobody's even looking at him and gets the spray down onto 2. Emilio's going to make sure that he can't get any more done. The spike has not been planted just yet, but look at all of this utility being thrown in. It's actually going to force Dream Chasers to run away, and even Rocket Launcher gets a frag onto Repler just as they come in. They miss the operator shot. They're trying to clear up the site with a recon bolt. The trap wire is going to maybe slow them down a little bit, but the rotation is good. It's actually Embo that comes in with the orbital strike now, is going to delay it even further. Regardless of whether this now kills Barbar, there's not enough time on the clock to do much with it. The operator's still in his hands. He's only 1 health, and we're now getting into the latter rounds of this side. Almost half time, just a couple more rounds. Decisive victory, it's looking to be for Too Good for Lad. Hard to really say what Dream Chasers are doing wrong at this point. It just seems that Too Good for LAN are in much more control, seem to have more of a game plan, more solid team play. Sin killing the farmer as he pushes in, but we do see Cobra getting that trade in, which is important. The wraparound is good. The spike still hasn't been planted, and that is awkward considering the Too Good for LAN are patiently rotating around and have a good portion of ultimates still left to use, including, of course, Fake's ult of the Rolling Thunder. Taking a lot of space, but they can take their time with this. They've got about 45 seconds on the clock before that spike deploys. They're just trying to take care of every single angle that they can. The Rolling Thunder now going to be used towards U-Hole. Looking to use it and have his team explode onto the site. It is going to hit the people in there, and you can see just how much damage that has done. Sind running their way through. He's trying to wall off mid, but there is nobody there. And the neural theft is going to show up exactly where Barbar is. He does get the first kill onto Alexi. So it's 2 versus 1 now. They're going for the defuse, and that's a really good orbital strike. He's going to get halfway, sacrifice himself. And Embo's going to actually do the same. Just accept that this is a round that would go the way of the Dream Chasers. A lot of stuff was thrown at them their way, but they did dedicate some big ultimates themselves. Neural Theft, they used Rolling Thunder. Expensive stuff. But look at those kills. Replin is the one that's fragging out like crazy. We've been looking at a lot of different Raze plays, especially the likes of Shao from Party Pirates, Zipan, of course, from Fabrican. All really making names for themselves as frag-heavy Raze players, but it's nice to see that we can add Replin to that list, who's having a very strong game. The Empress now used from the side of Dream Chasers and Cobra. Page Shells is going to be good with the slow connection. It actually forces the Raze to use the teleporter so she doesn't die because she was very low. Base being taken by the Empress. I don't imagine there's much time left. The spray is awkward, but it still gets the kill onto Fake. Going to use the invisible to rotate around, and it's going to be a bit more of a fawn in the side of the Brimstone, who's happily clumping in, but actually misses the shot. It just peeks it properly, but yet again, Cobra can get the frag. This is something that the guys on Heaven need to keep an eye on, and that's a bad miss from Repland with the operator. Going to be an awkward retake. It seems that it's going to be a third round now for Dream Chasers as we go into half-time. The showstopper is still ready to be used. He's looking to try and find where to throw it, but doesn't really catch anybody. The farmer gets free. And that's 3 rounds for Dream Chasers as we go into half-time. Now, this is where you need to bear with me, because these change. So, number 1 now is going to be... Alright, so this is going to be interesting. Trying to work out who's who. Sage Race. Sage, Brimstone, Safer. And if Creature Race, okay. And that's a good that's too good for land attacking. You'll have to bear with me when it comes to in any setup, as the selection of agents to pick when it comes to observing completely spruces itself up at halftime now, like it used to before. That bug has returned. The attackers are going to make their way in, so let's look at what the Sage is going to be doing, which is Sind. Default execution coming in. The spike is planted. And it's going to be Zadish that's trying to hold on in. The spray is an awkward one. They take quite a lot of damage. It's now the Reyna that's getting in some of the work at least. The fire, it's a good hold off from the attack to stop this retake from coming in. Zadish is going to fire in, but it's the frenzy from the breach that gets quite a lot done. Yet again, it's the Reyna. It's going to be Cobra that gets his third, trying to work out exactly where the last is. It's just going to be the breach, but it doesn't matter. Fink gets the 3 kills, actually. Tries to clear up as much as possible, but the defuse came in at the right time, and it puts Dream Chasers back into the game. I must apologise for not the craziest hype as well. I think because we have some pretty big games coming this weekend, I'm very much saving myself. It's still early. There's still a lot of people waking up, and whilst this isn't like the big list when it comes to the big game that we're going to see this weekend, it's still an integral one, and it's still a great way to sort of check out some of the teams and players and what exactly they are doing. Ember's now on the attack. The spike is going to get planted yet again for Too Good for Land. And they're taking quite a lot of space without really being punished, though. Zadish gets a good spray in, but Ember, now with a frenzy, is able to stop that before any more kills get added to that list. Checking out the Reyna, we're going to be seeing Cobra try and find out exactly where stuff is going on. It's hard to see who exactly is who. The spray is good. It means now that it's going to be a 1 versus 3. Ember's down, actually, so it gets cleared up, and it's going to be another round for the Dream Chasers as we get into the first round of both teams should be able to buy. And I think it's something the Too Good for Land need to be aware of. Whilst they do have a very heavy lead, it can be pipped to the post here if they're not careful. Rise is correct. This is actually Dream Chasers map pick. Too Good for Land picked the sides, and it seemed to work out rather well in that favour, at least. So far, this attack just isn't wanting to move, really. Nobody's looking to change up their positioning much at all. Cybercage one-ways are going to be used in camera setup. This is very, very slow from Too Good For Lan. You can have a look at the scores on the doors. Well, Replin hasn't got a frag this half as we looked into it on halftime. But it's actually going to be Meta Embo, excuse me, because that is a lot of damage being done on this B site. The spray down is something that certainly we should have seen coming as it was a bit of a battle. It's just going to be the Brimstone over on this site that's going to be holding on to it. He's going to be meeting him around this corner. It's actually going to be the Raze that gets that frag. Fake is making his way onto the site, and you can sort of see where the defenders are starting to come from now as the plant goes in. It's going to be really tough, I suppose, for the defenders of Dream Chasers to try and get some stuff done here now. There's a flourish of damage coming in, but it seems like it's going to be a save from these guys. You can see them moving away. Positioning is going to, you know, get away from the site and leave all of this up for another round for Too Good For Lan, the first of this half. Didn't take too much, but they have lost 4 rounds in a row. Could have been relatively disastrous, and rocket launch Barbars had a better time, I suppose. We could even see team chat for some reason, but good stuff for Too Good For Lan. It's a very polarizing performance when you have Embo and certainly Replan fragging out like crazy, with everybody else doing relatively okay. Emilio does catch off where exactly Replan is, so that adds another death to that KD, which isn't all that much important. Every time I see Too Good For Lan playing bind, they get like 10 rounds on defense and crumble on attack. Tim Kuhn. Yeah, I haven't really paid too much attention to the specific results of Too Good For Lan, because the thing that I respect about this team for sure is the fact that, you know, they played in the first tournament. They came second in the first ever EU tournament, the G-Dolphin show match, which was my first casting opportunity too. So they've been grinding. And of course the bad side is they are necessarily from Counter-Strike. Their results don't really speak too much. They've never won anything, which I don't think really helps their cause. But also because they are more veterans than anything else. Their average age is probably the highest out of a lot of the EU teams, certainly the ones that play together frequently. Makes things a little bit awkward for Fake and company, but they're looking pretty good now. Speaking of Fake, the Rolling Thunder is looking to be used at some point. And that Orbital Strike is just going to cut off that attack before it happens, but Embo's, the offensive one, catches out the farmer as he's trying to rotate out of the danger that he was currently in. Fake is still checking on these angles, but right now it's everybody else that's flourishing the site. Certainly Replan yet again. We should really just have the camera on him the whole time because he's the one that's coming through. Zadish, though, kills himself. It's the only thing that happens there. So that is unfortunate to say the least. I think Replan stopped because he's probably laughing too much. I don't know. I certainly agree with Rise, like, yeah, it certainly looks like when it comes to both the sides, Too Good For Lan are a lot worse on the attack than the defense. Certainly a note to make. Let me just make that real quick. Just gonna pick some notes in. But Replan's been certainly a star player. A lot of space being taken by the attack already, you know, holding these important areas of the map. They're doing the same on the B side. The sin is actually to get the first frag on the farmer, so there's not going to be any Sage. Luckily, there's no Resurrect, so that's not like too much of a hit. It's just losing that body. But Dream Chasers aren't really sure what's going on too much. They're swapping around and holding things a little bit differently. And they're rotating away. They're actually leaving the site pretty much fully unmanned. They think it's a bait towards A. This is a big mistake for Dream Chasers if Too Good For Lan decide to act on it, which right now they're not. They're just waiting for the smokes. It's going to be opened up now by the Rays. It is shot down, actually, by Emilio. No wonder I couldn't jump to them to spectate quickly, because he just gets mowed down from the operator that's in CT. Fake needs to keep an eye on it. The wall is down. The spike is down. He's careful of what's behind him, and he should be, because there are people that are coming through the teleporters. He's going to try and meet them. At this point, it's trying to see what exactly Dream Chasers dedicate to this defense, to this retake. The wraparound is good. Emilio is starting to get some work done. That's his second kill of this round. He's going to flank all the way around and pick up the Phantom, actually. Drop the operator and just start to clear up the site. There's only going to be one left alive, which is Embo, but Zaj is the one that gets a couple of frags, cleans up house, and there's going to be enough time for the defuse to give a 6th round to Dream Chasers. Now, Too Good for Land still have a steep lead, but they look a lot worse on this attack than they did on defense. Just gotta fill up my bottle real quick because I forgot to fill it up at the start of this. So I'll let you guys watch Sweet Nothing. I'll even open up the mini map for you so you can have a little gander where people are playing. But I will literally be 10 seconds, not even that, 5 seconds. I'm gonna be back, but no, wait, I can't be back before it starts. I've ruined it for myself. Hold on. And we're back. I didn't realise I was muted. You didn't miss too much. I was just going over the scrolls of the doors. At least you could see everything. I'd rather you be able to see the game than hear me. I think that's more important. So we're still making technical mistakes, but... Ooh, that's a nice double kill, actually, from Replan. That opens up the site for the rest of the team. Remember that this is going to be match point. There's not really any room for error. But the eliminations come through. Fake's made a lot of space on the plant. and it means the Too Good for LAN take the first win on Bind in pretty decisive fashion, let's be fair. What I was saying whilst we were having all of that action not really play out in front of us, to be fair, I don't think, was I just want to show the scores for our partner, the Spike.gg, that have been compiling all of the stats. Who's got the most first bloods? Who's got the most, better KD? Most plants, most diffuses. We do it by the teams, we can see it like that. But what I was saying to myself is we have a pretty jam-packed day today.